All right, everyone. It's Carrie Legault here. Megan is with her puppy Blaze. So if you're a person of prayer or want to send some healing thoughts their way, I'm sure she would appreciate that tonight. She's at the emergency vet right now with some intestinal stuff going on. So that's that. She can't be with us right now, but no fear. We have some amazing leaders that stepped up tonight. What we had planned for you all was talking about why our passion for Beachbody hasn't faded over the years, and a big reason why that's the case is because our actual whys have evolved as we've been coaches. Before we dive into that, let's just make sure everybody knows it's September 19th, 9 p.m. Eastern time, our regularly scheduled Fit and Fierce team call time. So those of you, I know that some of you don't really know my story yet. I'm just going to go quickly through mine and then get to some other leaders on our team. That's the plan for tonight. Because it's really important for you to realize when you are first starting out coaching, or maybe you're an emerald or you're looking to grow to diamond, whatever the case may be. If you're here to grow a business, which all of you are, you want to become a story collector. That was one of the things that was told to me towards the very beginning of my coaching journey. And it really caught my attention because, I thought this thing that we were doing was all about sales, and it was all about, Success Club, just points and stuff like that. And when I realized it was more about being a story collector and sharing stories, sharing powerful stories of your teammates with your friends and your family, it became a lot easier. So a little bit about me. I grew up in a home of addiction. I'm very open about that. I'm not really open about it so much on the public page of social media. So I grew up in a setting where it was very much do as I say, not as I do. And so luckily I found a swimming community, a team that I just physically and figuratively dove myself into, and literally I felt safe there. And it's the last place I wanted to talk about what was going on at home. It was my escape. Every day I swam, I just felt so good and so relieved, even though some practices, I'm sure I was crying through the practices just because I was so dang tired. Some nights weren't as good as others at home, and I was, functioning on 3 hours of sleep, because the reality of it for me, for swimming, I was getting up. I still remember the clock. I would set it to 4:01 because I needed that extra minute. 4:01 a.m. and I would be in the pool at 4:45, 5 o'clock the latest, and swimming till a little after 7 because school started at like 7:15, 7:20. And after school, went back to swimming, and then after swimming, did homework while I was eating, and tried to get to bed to get some rest. And I just was so constantly wrapped up in the team and being a good teammate that allowed me to kind of forget everything else that was going on. And it allowed me to, despite what was going on, continue to work harder and become better. And I'm not saying every day of my life was really hard, but I'm saying that there was a lot of struggle growing up. And I saw adult things at a very young age. And the reason why I'm not really vocal about this on my Facebook is because my parents are still together. My dad has been sober for a little bit now. And I think this, for the first time in my life, it's for good. And I say a little bit, but it's been over a year. And so I don't share my dirty laundry, if you will, over in Facebook, even though I try to be very transparent. But I wanted to share that with you guys today because through those struggles, even though it was easy for me to have, they say addiction runs in families. Yeah. So I could be an alcoholic. I choose not to drink alcohol. So there's different things like that I have very black and white views on. And I know that addiction and alcoholism and all other types of addiction are incredibly sensitive topics, and I'm very sensitive to that. I believe it's a disease, and that's my view. And I believe it's something that we should treat like cancer and aggressively like that. So I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about that, and my swimming background, which led into, swimming through college, which I got a degree in English, but ended up becoming a middle school math teacher because that was my passion. Found a community in teaching, but still I was missing something. I wasn't goal setting. I wasn't dreaming big. I was just going through the daily motions, and I was pouring my heart into my students, and I was, little by little losing myself, losing who I was, and losing that fire and that spunk to be better and do better. And Beachbody provided that, especially after the 2 girls. I felt very lonely at home, and I was, missing that bonding time with teammates and people. And then I found Beachbody, watching the late night infomercials, literally nursing my 6-year-old, not even 6-month-old, 3 months probably. I told her no for 3 months, my sponsor, Lindsay. And I finally said yes. And I started in May of 2012. And since then, my life has changed so much, because now I'm like engulfed in a team of support, day in and day out. When I'm having a bad day, there's going to be a message that comes through that says, thank you for making my days better. And it just feels so good. That's what fills my bucket. Or if you look on the team page and people celebrating each other, that's just what gives me energy day in and day out to, be here and add value. I retired from teaching after a year of being a Beachbody coach. It wasn't rainbows and butterflies. We worked hard. We were on one income. We counted pennies. And then at year 3, we started to be a bit more comfortable, and we retired my husband. Now in year 4, we're in our forever home. We're doing some things to fix it up and make it, something that we're truly proud of and can call home. And it's just, my life has just changed so much, and I'm back to feeling energized and whatnot, and now being able to give in a way. And my husband doesn't like to say give back because it implies that we took something. It's being able to give is something that really fuels me and fuels my passion to help people like me, and specifically girls, little girls that, put a smile on their face even though when they're struggling. And I want to be able to reach those kind of women and help them with their families and that kind of stuff. So that's my story in a nutshell. We have Amy, Logan, Leslie, and Renee that are going to share theirs and open it up for some questions at the end. I see Logan and Leslie. Either one of you ready? They're both smiling. All right, Logan, you got it.
I can go. Okay. So my name's Logan. It's good to see all of you tonight. I fall down in Megan's downline. I'm a couple sponsors like underneath her. And I have been a coach. I just passed my 1-year anniversary. I realized when I went to go look up the exact date. I became a coach on September 14th of last year. And when kind of where I was at last summer was kind of a low point for me emotionally. I was at home with 2 very young babies. My daughter Lucy was 2 and my son Luke was 9 months. I am a labor and delivery nurse, and as we, had the babies and it just got a little bit more difficult to schedule childcare and everything, I started reducing my hours at work so that I could be at home with the kids. So last summer I was typically working about 1 shift a week, and which I loved because I wanted to be at home with the kids. But there was a part of me that was definitely feeling a little bit missing, and a lot of it just had to do with that adult interaction that I was missing, and that like purpose and pride that I would get as a nurse, getting to take care of patients and be a part of a miracle and a delivery is just a rush. And And even though I was so happy to be at home with the kids, I really missed it, even though I wouldn't really let myself fully admit it. My husband is a potato farmer, and last year was the first year that he and his brothers really started on their own venture, which was super exciting, but it meant that he was gone a lot. And I found myself just kind of stuck in this wheel day in and day out of me at home with the kids by myself. He would get up and be gone before they were awake and get home again after they were in bed. And I was feeling very lonely. It's one of those like kind of funny things about essentially being a stay-at-home mom. You're never alone, but it's honestly, it can be one of the loneliest like times, I feel like. Just the having to adapt to taking care of two very young kids who depended on me for every possible thing, made it, it felt like I was always either someone was napping or someone was needing to eat. It was impossible to leave the house. I was just feeling stuck and overwhelmed. I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't exercising at all. My nutrition consisted of whatever was hanging off of their high chairs that I could scarf down in between meals. And I was running on empty, trying to take care of everybody else and keep everybody else happy. But I wasn't taking the time to fill up my own cup. And I just found myself, it's still like emotional to talk about. I found myself just like counting down the hours until they were going to go to bed at night or go down for a nap so that I could have a break. And I just never expected that that was going to be the kind of mom. I never anticipated I would be that kind of mom, and it was just wrecking me inside. And it was the middle of August when a girl that I had been following on Instagram for a couple years, who turned out to be my sponsor, Blair, love her to death, shared her 90-day results of doing PIO and 21-day fix. And she was a mom of two. I completely related to her story. And that night I messaged her because I knew that I was just desperate for a change, for something. And it just snowballed from there. I didn't sign up as a coach right away. I was a customer, and I was totally content to be that until I tried Shakeology. And then, when Blair asked me if I wanted to get it at a discount, I thought, sure, discount coach for life, which lasted for a week or two before everyone was starting to notice how much better I was feeling. I had energy again, physically I was starting to change, and it was getting to the point where this was seriously over a matter of 6 weeks. It was so fast. But I was really just kind of feeling the need to start sharing and paying it forward a little bit, because I thought, if there's one person out there that I can reach that wants to feel good, then, it's worth it. And here I am a year later, and I started the very beginning of this year, January, still as an Emerald coach, and I'm currently a 2-star diamond. And it makes me want to throw up to even admit out loud, to say out loud, especially on a team call, but I want to be elite by the end of the year. And I have an amazing team to do that with. And it just, I can't even explain how different my life feels today than it felt a year ago. And when I got to walk out on the field at Summit with all of the other 1-star diamonds and, look around and see everybody cheering, and I started crying, because I just thought to myself, how did I get from feeling so lost and so alone last summer to being here? And it was just a very full circle moment for me. And I have energy. I'm the healthiest that I've ever been in my life. I don't have that anxiety anymore because I'm actually taking the time to take care of myself. I learned that in order to take care of everybody else, I have to take care of myself first, and it's not selfish to do that. I have friendship. I have some of the best friends that I've joined on this journey. And I just really feel like I have that purpose again. And one of the things that I really loved about nursing was getting to really make an impact with someone and help them during, you know, a really sensitive kind of time of need. And I have that opportunity now with coaching on an even bigger scale. And so, you know, my why totally started out as I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to feel better about myself. And every month in our challenge group, when we share what our why is, I realize, you know, when I go live and start telling my story a little bit, that every single month my why is a little bit different, and it goes into like a little bit deeper issues or things that have happened in my past that I didn't even realize I was really carrying around with me. And now, you know, I came home from this amazing leadership retreat in Charleston and was, you know, telling my husband about it. And he flat out told me that he wants me to run this business with the purpose to retire him so that he can be home with us and the kids. And that was just like mind-blowing that he had that faith in me. I mean, it's scary because that's a lot of pressure. But I know in my heart that I can do it, and I want to do it because I want him to be there for their sporting events and not just in the background on his phone, like I know he grew up with his dad always doing as a farmer. I want him to be present with us and to get to go on vacations together that, you know, don't just revolve around farming season, and get to just have that forever home where I can picture it in my head. It's summertime. The kids are out, you know, playing in the pool. He's barbecuing. He's there with us. It's summer and it's the evening and he's there with us and we're with family and friends. And that is what this why and this vision has morphed into. And I'm super excited to see it through.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. You're giving me chills. And mommy guilt is real. I mean, seriously, like you feel guilty admitting like that you're home with your kids and you're not happy, you know, like, cause that's all you ever wanted, or at least myself. And to our family to sacrifice so I could do that. It felt horrible to say like, I'm not being fulfilled, you know, like my needs are valid, you know, but so true, Logan. And I know you can do it too. Leslie, your sponsored ad today popped up on my screen. I didn't click it because I didn't want to cost you some money. But I did see it, and I'm excited to hear your story because it was super. I wanted to click it, like I wanted to join your group. But I'm excited to hear from you. Basically, like how life was for you pre-Beachbody, and you know, when you started coaching, how it changed, and what fuels you.
Okay. Well, I'm Leslie. I started coaching in I got my challenge pack in April and started coaching the beginning. So about like 4 months, I think. So my life before Beachbody, the years kind of like up a bit.
Yeah, right. She's doing the game on.
I can't even hear. I keep talking. Can you hear me? Okay, cool. Okay, so my life kind of like leading up. I was like in a really unhealthy marriage for like 10 years. Like you, Carrie, I don't share this like on Facebook, but my marriage was very abusive. I don't share that on Facebook, obviously, because that's my son's dad. And so we still have like this co-parenting relationship, which is very difficult. And so I had got divorced like in 2010, and I met my husband shortly after that. He's a potato farmer as well, and an amazing guy, like just that all around good guy, you know. And so I thought like life was gonna be good now, right? Like got out of that toxic environment. And so I got pregnant with my daughter, and I decided to go for some counseling, which counseling is awesome and amazing, but like if you have stuff that you haven't dealt with, when you go to counseling, it kind of like brings all that crap to the surface. So there was a lot of stuff that I had like normalized, that I had made excuses for, that I blamed myself for. And so I had all this negative self-talk and all these horrible things going on, and it all came to the surface, and I had no idea how to deal with it. I got super depressed, super anxious. You know, I got diagnosed with PTSD. They put me on all these medications. And so not only am I dealing with all that, but then I just start gaining weight, right? Because I'm on all this medicine and coping in super unhealthy ways. My body was like falling apart. I had, you know, they say like stress like destroys your body from the inside out. Like I was the living example of that, because I literally had 4 surgeries in 2 years. I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Like, I mean, I was falling apart, you guys. And I was, you know, in my early 30s going through all this. And so I was suffering from endometriosis, and my doctor started prescribing me pain medication. And pain medication or addiction runs in my family as well. And so I started taking the medicine for the pain, but it became a very easy way to check out. And before I knew it, like I had a major problem. And so I started abusing the pills, and I was hiding it from everyone. And I was just using it to deal with the anxiety. Like when I took the pills, I didn't have to feel anything. Like I got to numb out. And so here I am, like when you're taking pain meds or you have an addiction, at least for me, like you feel like you have it under control. Like you feel like I'm super mom, like I'm fun, like, you know, I got this down. And when in reality, like, you know, all my friends and family will tell you, like I was checked out, like I was not engaged, I was not present. And so long story short, I did get help for the addiction. I had been without pain meds for a year before I started seeing Logan pop up on my Facebook. And so I was in a better place mentally, but something was still like missing, you know, like I was using all these meds to like deal with my depression, my anxiety, panic attacks, my blood pressure. And sitting on the couch, I was an emotional eater. I mean, I would go to Jack in the Box like every single day, like no lie. And so I would get on Facebook and scroll my feed, and I'd see Logan and her sweaty selfies, and I'd be like, who is this girl and who does she think she is? And I would see this like transformation, you know, and I was like, surely those are photoshopped because nobody can look like that. And my sister-in-law Renee, that's gonna talk after me, like we would talk crap about Logan, like honestly. And so, not like in a bad way, just in a very like jealous way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my gosh. But we love you, Logan. You know that. So anyway, so I reached out. One of her posts just punched me in the gut, you guys. Like, it was like a fear of failure post, right, Logan? Is it fear of failure, I think? Yeah. So, like, hey, you've tried all these products and you quit on all of them, and you don't want to try Beachbody because you don't want to fail at that too, and then everyone laugh at you. And I was like, oh my God, that's me. Like, I have a cupboard full of like every supplement shake possible that I've never used. And so I messaged her. And what Logan did that day, you guys, is like literally changed my life, because see, I'm gonna get emotional on that. She like totally stuck her neck out. Like, she was not like, oh, well, yeah, you should drink a shake and work out for 30 minutes. Like, she was like, girl, you have a story. You would be amazing at this. You could touch people's lives. I believe in you. And like, made me feel like I had so much value. Like, I had so much to like offer the world. And I was like, I barely know this girl. And so it just kind of makes you like, okay, well, she believes in me. Like, why don't I believe in me? And so for some reason I said yes. And I tell Logan, like, I had been hit up by like 5 or 6 different Beachbody coaches before about coaching, and gave them crickets. Like, I was the girl you message that doesn't write you back. Like, that was me. Like, oh, good. Yep, not writing you back. So anyways, needless to say, my life has changed in a huge way in the last 4 months. Not only am I like actually present and engaged and happier and healthier and stronger and all those things that we know, like, I went to the doctor and got off blood pressure meds like 2 months into my journey. And I was like crying, like happy tears, like called Logan on the way home, like shaking, because I've been on blood pressure meds for 9 years, you guys. 9 years. Like, I literally thought, like, I'm going to die of cardiovascular disease. Like, that's just my, future. Like, that's what's going to happen. And so I always tell Logan, like, she saved my life, not just changed it. And I make her cry. But more than that was our challenge group. Whatever, I wish I could put words to what Logan does in there, and Heather and Renee and other leaders, but like, you guys, it's like a support group. Like, it is not just about health and fitness. Like, we are sharing our crap. Like, I'm talking about abuse. I'm talking about the times I made myself throw up. I'm talking about, abusing pills. I'm talking about my relationship with the scale. Like, we're talking about it all. Like, we are just like throwing it out there. And we cry and we lift each other up, and it just, I mean, how can that not change your life, to have those friendships with complete strangers and to feel safe and secure? Like, we went to the rodeo like a few weeks ago, and my husband was like, you are a completely different person. Like, you are not looking around comparing yourself to all these other women. Like, you're just happy to be here with me. And it was so true. Like, I felt good about myself, not because, oh, I have the perfect body. Like, I still have goals to reach, but I feel good about myself. And that was like a whole new concept. Like, I've never been there before. So, that's pretty awesome. Like, not seeking that approval from others, like, when I first started coaching, Renee started her life page, like, right away. Like, she was like out the door running, and I was like, oh my God, no, like, I cannot, no, like, people are going to judge me. And then when I did start my page, I was like trying to copy other people's pages and trying to be somebody I wasn't, and not really letting myself be seen. And then I finally just started sharing my heart, like, on Facebook, on this life page. And that fueled me big time. Like, because Beachbody gave me this incredible platform where I just get to be myself, like my true authentic self, let myself be seen. Beachbody doesn't care if I praise Jesus or say the F word, or in my case, do both. Like, they just do not care. And so I got on there live, and I was talking about divorce, and I'm talking about co-parenting, and I'm talking about depression, I'm talking about anxiety. And I'm getting all these messages from people that are like, oh my God, you're saying things I never could even say out loud. And there's so much freedom in that, like that purpose, like that Logan was talking about. Like, that's what fuels me, like finding purpose in your pain, like all that crap, like, you know, like what a waste of time if all that shit happened for no reason. Like what a waste of time, right? And so I get to use all that for good now. Like that's my job. Like that's, I don't know. I think it's just an incredible opportunity to like be part of something bigger. Like Logan said, like leave your mark. And you know, every time I share, every single time, there's at least one person that will message and say, I needed to hear your words today. And that's just, that vulnerability is what fuels me. Like it is a strength. I think it takes tremendous courage to like let yourself be seen. And when I reached Diamond, and then last week I got 1-star Diamond, which was like super exciting. And so I'm like setting goals, and you know, we were talking at the retreat about how do you make sure you don't get stuck? Like how do you make sure that you like keep going, like you don't get stuck at Diamond, right? And I was like, I didn't come this far to only come this far. Like I'm like, that's not even an option, right? Like I just can't even imagine getting stuck. And obviously there's going to be hardships and there's going to be tough months. Like this month kind of sucks, but it's going to be hard sometimes. But I feel confident that I'm going to be able to like look that fear in the face and face it. And I have this incredible team around me, and I can reflect on how far I've come. And I just feel confident that that's going to be enough, because like I'm enough now, you know? So
boom. That needs a fist pump. Awesome. Thank you for sharing all of that. I mean, the first part of, you know, normalizing seeking help. I mean, that's a lot of that's heavy for people, you know, to come out and say, these are my weaknesses. This is the area I need help in. So doing that shows incredible strength, even though that we don't see that as strength. So proud of you and how far you've come. We have 2 more people to share. Renee, are you here on the iPad? Awesome.
Yes.
All right.
Hi.
Hi. So basically, if you could take us back to a little bit pre-Beachbody, or what your life looked like when you signed up, how your life's changed, and you know what fuels you, your why, what keeps you going.
Okay. So I'm Renee, everybody, and I first did Insanity about 3 or 4 years ago. After my first son, I was the heaviest I had ever been. I was uncomfortable. I, you know, was home with him. I was still teaching at the time. I'm a former teacher. And so Leslie is my sister-in-law, as she said, and we did Insanity together. We had our babies like a month apart. And so we were like, okay, let's do this. And I had great results with it. I lost like 10 pounds and I don't know how many inches, and I did great. And then I did like T25 after that. And my goal was to be in a bikini by the time I was 30 for my 30th birthday and totally rock it. And I totally did. And I was like super proud of myself. And I did it kind of on my own. I didn't have a group, and I'm kicking myself now for not signing up as a coach back then, because I probably would be super successful by now. But so I did that. And then that year when I turned 30, we were going to try for another baby. And so I kind of gave up a little bit on eating healthy and working out. I kind of had that fear of, you know, what if that does something, you know, when I try to get pregnant, I'm not able to get pregnant, or, you know, if I were to have a miscarriage or something like that. Just that fear that I think a lot of women get, you know, you just don't want to ruin anything. And so I just kind of gave up, and I stopped doing all the things. I ate whatever and didn't work out like ever. And then I literally, my husband would be like doing T25 and I was on the couch eating ice cream watching him while I was pregnant. So, and back then he was like, oh, we should try that Shakeology. And I was like, oh, no, that's too expensive. And then, so after we had our second son, he was born in May, and in August, I had seen an infomercial for 21 Day Fix, and I bought it, and I did it for a week, and then I gave up because I was like, these containers are way too hard, and I didn't have any accountability or anything like that, and so I just kind of gave up on it. And then in January of this year, I had messaged Logan and kind of was like, okay, girl, add me to this damn group because you look amazing and I need to do something and get back, my motivation. And then I wasn't quite ready to jump on with Shakeology then. And so I was like, oh, okay, I think I'll hold off a little longer. And then we ended up moving in March. And so it was a little bit crazy for a few weeks, and then I messaged Logan and I was like, what's this delicious chicken sausage you always get? And I was like, I'm starting to get back on track, and I wasn't, I didn't say anything about the group or anything, but just was ready to start doing better. And so I had messaged her, and that was March, and then I started Insanity Backup, original Insanity, like mid-April. And then at the end of April, Leslie had asked me if I wanted to join the group. She's like, you don't have to drink the shakes. You can just join the group for the accountability and motivation. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, just reluctantly, like, whatever, go ahead and add me to this group. Literally, I'm looking at my timeline here because, let's see, I think it was the next day. I asked her about a 5-day Shakeology challenge she was doing because I wanted to try them. And, so she sent me the 5-day Shakeology packets, and then the next day, so one day later, I messaged her and was like, okay, so what's this coach discount and how much would it be and all this other stuff? And she's like, okay, so do you want to just get some Shakeology or sign up with a challenge pack? I was like, oh no, all in, like, let's do it. And then so she sent me the enrollment, and 2 days later I signed up as a coach. And I originally was just planning on signing up as a discount coach. And then I'm thinking, well, if I can get my shakes paid for, okay. And then that same week I signed up as a coach, I made a like page, I went all in and just went with it. And I had that fear of judgment. My son is hopping in here. I had that fear of judgment, but then I just sort of decided that if I could inspire or motivate even one person, then the judgment wasn't even worth my worry. And so I had been doing Insanity for a few weeks. So like within that first week of signing up, I had some results, like after doing it for a month of, eating cleaner and things like that. So I posted transformation pics pretty quickly, and I got, quite a few people interested in what I was doing and wanting to know, what I was doing and how and everything about it. So that first month I did, really well and was able to get some people to join us and get them started on their health and fitness. And then I did that. And just ever since then, I've learned a lot along the way. When I started, I was like, oh, I have to do all these Shakeology posts, or, oh, I have to just post sweaty selfies. And then kind of like Leslie realized, I just started sharing my life. Like I started sharing what I'm doing every day, not just that, but when you have a mom moment and your kids are throwing a fit, or when they are up out of bed 58 times after you lay them down, and just everything like that. And you don't push on there. And it's just helped, like, people start to build that relationship with you and see that it's not just all about, health and fitness all the time, that you're a real person, that, I'm a busy mom, I have 2 kids, and I might not be working anymore, but I still have a busy life and I'm still able to fit it all in. And so it has changed my life in that way, that I get these messages or these texts from my coaches or my customers, saying how good that they're feeling, or how happy they are, that they've made changes with their body, or how much happier their spouse is or their kids because they're spending more time with them. And so that, I think, is a huge fuel for me, is that those messages that I get just like totally fill my heart and warm my heart, and just, I mean, it makes me want to help all the people and just keep going. And, you know, like Leslie said, our challenge group is amazing. The girls are so open with each other, and not everybody participates. You know, there's some flies on the wall still, but they're still watching, just like with our like pages. They're still watching, and they're still seeing, you know, that it's not always just about health and fitness. And I think that's one of my biggest drives, is wanting people to know that it's not some crazy bad diet that you can't eat this or you can't eat that. And I get that so many times, like, oh, well, can you have this? Or it's like, I can do whatever I want, but I choose, you know, what I do and don't want to do. And just making them realize that it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. And, you know, I'm not just trying to lose weight and get skinny. And maybe that was my, you know, beginning reason, but it's not now. I just want to be strong, and I want to be a good role model for my kids. And my husband is super supportive, and he's working out with me, and he's drinking Shakeology and eating well. And he, I'm going to post his transformation pictures tomorrow, actually, because he just finished 225, and it's like pretty awesome. I'm super proud of him. And with him too, like, it's, you know, he still drinks beer on the weekend with his buddies, and he doesn't watch his, you know, nutrition as closely as I do, and he still has had amazing results. I think that's what it's about, is people realizing that you can still have fun. You can still, you know, go have a fun weekend with your friends or have pizza every once in a while, and it's going to be okay. Like, you'll still get results, you'll still feel good, and you'll still be happy. So that's kind of my story and why I'm doing this and why I keep going.
I love that. One of the girls on our team, she always says it's about progress, not perfection. And I know that's a quote, and you can see that on different things, but I just associate that quote with her because she says it so often. And I feel like you captured that so perfectly right at the end. And it totally is just about little progress every day, and, you know, having your blinders off and not letting yourself compare yourself to someone else, because that literally is the thief of joy. And just focusing on your progress daily is such a huge thing. So thank you for sharing that so much. We have one more, Amy Dame. I think she's still with us. She told us, she told me earlier that she was on her archaic laptop or something like that. So, so Amy, take us back to teaching days or pre-teaching days, and how you found Beachbody and how you thought it was going to be one thing, and then you surprised yourself.
Yes. Hi, everyone. You ladies did awesome, by the way. I feel like my story is so boring, but I feel lucky that I have a boring story, I guess. But I'm glad I have a boring story. So yeah, Carrie reached out to me. It was like 2014. And I probably said no like way too many times, and then finally signed up. I think the Shakeology challenges, I think you were running them through email back then, and it was like getting one email a day. And I remember saying no forever, and then finally deciding that I wanted to do that. And then I became just like the ultimate challenger. I probably bought like 6 different challenge packs under 6 different emails. Like, I was like using Adam's email, my husband's email. I think I created extra emails just to get challenge packs. Like, and she kept being like, why don't you sign up as a coach? Sign up as a coach. And I kept being like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time. And like, little did I realize, once I finally signed up, like, it's no different. Like, whatever. So then I finally was getting the discount too. So like, I don't know. I wasted so much money not being a coach for it was probably a year. I don't even know. But I finally said yes. And I just wanted the discount. I didn't post on Facebook. I couldn't even think about doing anything like that. even if people asked me about it, I like was like, oh, it's just a protein shake. It's nothing. It's whatever. Like it tastes good, but it's just a protein shake. And then finally I started realizing that people were interested for good reasons and they just wanted to be healthy. And that's when I started realizing it was a lot more about sharing and not, I wasn't really selling to them, which was always like my greatest fear, that my friends and family were going to think I was just doing something to sell to them. But when did I sign up? I wrote it down because I couldn't believe it. March 2014 was when I first signed up as a coach, which is hilarious to me, because I didn't do anything for it. I like thought I was running a business for like a year. I was a middle school math teacher, and I literally would check my business center during the day at school and just think like Success Club points were gonna like pop up in my business center. Like that's never happened. Like that doesn't happen. But I just thought like, oh, I'm running a business. Like that's gonna happen. Like no, it doesn't. You have to do stuff to make the points get there. But I realized what I thought was funny is a year after I signed up as a coach is when I had my son. So I had him March 2015. But before that, I kept telling people at school that I'm going to find a way to stay home. I'm going to find a way to stay home. That was like, I know it's not for everyone, but that was just my ultimate dream. Like not raising other people's kids, being able to raise my own kid. And I remember one day I was like, I was telling my friend I work with, I was like, I think this Beachbody thing is my ticket out. Like, I think I can really do something here. I remember Carrie posting something. You posted something, someone posted on your wall that they were like thanking you for helping them with something. And I was like, oh, I want that to be me. Like, I was so jealous. I was like, I want to help people, like people's families and not just people's kids. Like, I wanted to help the whole family. And I just listened to a podcast the other day, and it was saying how jealousy, like, it's not a bad feeling. It should be like an arrow, like pointing you towards what you want. And I feel like Carrie's life is like my arrow. like seriously, she was a math teacher, and then she got to stay home with her kids. You retired your husband, got your forever home. Like, I feel like I'm just like slowly following you. Like, and I know I'll get there eventually. I didn't really start working my business until I think it was last October. And I decided, I remember Henry, my son, was 6 months old, and I was like, okay, we're doing this, kid. Like, I'm staying home. I'm going to make this work. And my husband gave me a year to kind of like figure things out. So I'm like teaching college courses on the side and kind of doing this and trying to kind of put them together. And I'm not at my goal yet for where I wanted to be in a year, in October. But when I look back, I'm like so much further. Like, I don't have to check my business office and hope like points are coming in anymore. Like, I know when they're coming in. I'm reaching out to people to make sure there's points going in. And I know now that they're not just points, that they're people. And it's just, I try to tell people, like, this coaching thing, it's not about points. It's not about money. It's about just like way more than we could ever realize. And for me, like today, I went during the day, I went to Panera with my son. We went food shopping. Like, to just be able to do whatever I want during the day is just huge. Like, when you're a teacher, I mean, it's not a horrible job, but like, you can't do, like, you have 20 minutes for lunch, including like a bathroom break. You can't just like go and do things. Like, so I guess what keeps me going now is I want this not to just be like, 1 or 2 years that my husband's, on being nice and letting me stay home and work his butt off, like at real work. This is going to be my life. Like, I am not looking back. We have an awesome team here. I have some awesome people that are on the journey with me, and I hope I said everything. I think that's good. so we can go to bed.
That was awesome. I know we went a little late, but guys, this is recorded, so I know if some people had to go, that was fine. But I really do. I can't say enough how thankful I am of you guys sharing your stories with us, because this is our tool, if you will. This is what we share. We share our community of support. Maybe you don't relate to me or Leslie or Logan or Renee or Amy, but I guarantee you there's someone in your family or close network friends that needs what they said today, and they need you to reach out and breathe life into them like Logan did to Leslie and say, I believe in you. I see people like you doing this. I know you can do this too. I see them being successful leaders on my team, not just making a little money or a discounter for life. So think about that list. Maybe if you have a minute or two before you head off to bed, brain dump some names that relate to the stories that you heard today so that you can reach out with them tomorrow. Take action with stories. They're not just, here for us to, gather and collect. You need to share them, and you need to share them in an intentional way, because that's how you change someone's life. That's how you make a relationship, and that's how they start to believe in themselves too. So hope everybody has a good night. I'll put up the recording as soon as I can. And thanks again to Leslie, Logan, Renee, and Amy. We really appreciate you. Bye, everyone.